All right, so Florida State pulls off another recruiting shocker and another recruiting shocker at the wide receiver position as they land four-star speedster wide receiver Malik Clark out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, you have to forgive me for being a tad late on this one. This one was actually pretty unexpected, so I didn't have a pre-record or even a script written out for Malik, so kind of doing this one on the fly. Malik comes in at about 6'3", 185 pounds or so, a four-star wide receiver like we mentioned. Every site kind of has him right around a top 200-ish kind of player, a top 3 player in the state. Going over the scouting report on him, he's a perimeter playmaker with speed to find the end zone. He has long limbs and a top gear, so he could emerge as a true difference maker on Saturdays. We mentioned he's a speedster, and he also runs track. In fact, he placed third in his 5A state meeting, running the 100 meter in under 11 seconds, which, especially at 6'3", is very impressive. He creates good separation with elite cuts, but obviously could be a bit more effective if he bulks up a little bit, which I'm sure he will under Josh Storms. He's a potential multi-year starter at the Power 4 level, but also has legitimate NFL upside. And then they finish it out by saying he's one of the best in the entire cycle about challenging coverages at the second and third levels. Now, we mentioned this is a bit of a shocker, but not just to us, to everyone. Malik received crystal ball predictions to South Carolina yesterday morning, and a few more over the last couple days. He also still had a couple win for UNC, who originally led for him, I think. Florida State was definitely always in the mix there, but with the other competition being in-state schools or at least a very close out-of-state school, you never feel super comfortable with those, but you pull off a shocker here and you get it done. This one a lot like the C.J. Wiley commitment that Florida State pulled off a few weeks back. Like we mentioned, there was really no one expecting Wiley to commit to Florida State. It was all UGA reporters at his ceremony, so I wouldn't say this one is quite as shocking as that, but still nice to get unexpected news in the name of another four-star wide receiver. I gotta say it, man. Ron Dugas is putting in work with this recruiting class. Like we mentioned a second ago, pulling in C.J. Wiley away from Georgia, Malik Clark away from his in-state school, and Dalen McCutcheon away from Texas and USC. That's 3 blue-chip wide receivers that you're bringing in from out of state. That's not an easy task considering the competition you're facing to do so. I personally still think that all these guys are super underrated. I still stand by saying that Dalen McCutcheon is one of the best receivers in the entire class. And I think Malik Clark fits into this group perfectly, bringing in a really nice blend of size and speed, which was definitely something we needed. With last year's receiver haul bringing in Lowain McCoy, Elijah Moore, B.J. Gibson, and others, then pairing that with the way this receiver class is shaping up, there's going to be no shortage of weapons there in Tallahassee. So for the younger quarterbacks like Luke and Brady, once he gets into Tally, it's going to be a lot to work with. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of concludes the wide receiver position for Florida State in 2025, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they try to add in one more big fish. I think they'd obviously take a fourth if it was a guy like a Khalil Lockett or maybe even like a Dallas Wilson, but that kind of move is going to be later in the cycle, so it'd be more of a wait-and-see kind of deal. But you'll have to keep stacking blue-chip talent at the receiver position, and again, it's always nice to be pleasantly surprised like this. It's shaping up to be a truly nasty receiver haul for Florida State, and I'm super excited for it. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Always nice to add in another blue chip receiver. Hopefully this brightened up your day some as well. The Noles putting in some real work on the recruiting trail right now. We've been telling you guys there was more coming, and I'm going to say it again here. There's definitely more coming. More Florida State targets are announcing in the next couple weeks, and who knows, maybe even another couple shockers like this one. So definitely want to make sure you're subscribed to keep up with the big recruiting updates like this and just about everything else Florida State football. Catch you guys on the next one. Go Noles.